is Madhuri? A lot of things really. I was this really simple homemaker, typical Indian woman, and today I'm a health maker, and I have built a brand called Intelligent Fitness. The other thing that I've done, I was a simple trainer, fitness trainer, nutritionist, trying to find my feet. But today I am the proud author of a novel called Who Stole My Calories, and I'm going to share my journey with you. For you to understand my journey, let me take you back to when I was 12 years old. I was this hopping around Indian dancer, and I did some rigorous training for the Kathak discipline for at least 10 years. When I was in college, I switched to jazz ballet, and I loved Jane Fonda aerobics. It was really my passion. I think that was my first tryst with exercising. And post that, I did some management studies like most of us were doing in those days. But I didn't have any answers to what I really wanted to do. I did some odd jobs here and there. I remember working with Indian craftsmen for a long time. Wonderful people, all of them, so talented. I got into advertising. That was exciting. I mean, the deadlines really got to me, but I really liked it. And then finally, as I got married and had babies, and I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and so I settled for Montessori training. But you know what? I was bored, and I started to look boring as well. I so wanted to be this sharp, active Madhuri all over again. And I was scratching my brains about what I could do. I was only a teacher at the time, and I was a homemaker. But as luck would have it, there were several life events that happened very quickly in succession after I was 36. And that totally changed my space. Let me just have a little bit of green tea before I start. These events, talking about these events really excites me all the time because it takes me back and energizes me to continue what I'm doing. What was really exciting at that time was yahoo.com. There wasn't any Google then, but I was so excited with Yahoo and all the information that I could get surfing the net that I took my diet for my pregnancy very seriously. And in the third trimester, my gynaec said, you know what, your iron levels, blood iron levels are through the roof. You don't need to have any supplements. And that was like, oh my God, this nutrition can be so exciting that it can actually change your fitness destiny. It can change so many things for you. The second was that very quickly, soon after that, within a couple of years, my better half of that time, he had drop-dead levels of diabetes, insulin-dependent diabetes, and had become part of that myth. We had all bought into that myth that once a diabetic, always a diabetic. But somehow we followed instructions to the T, and this was really, really ghar ka khana and everyday exercise, just that. And lo and behold, there was no need for insulin shots within 6 months of my ex-husband getting this attack of diabetes. He also didn't need to have the simple medicine that everybody wants, that's metformin. And I was doing the cooking all the time for all of this. And that's when I said, let me learn more about something that is so wonderful, the power of our foods and how it can heal us in very simple ways, right from our own homes. And that's when I applied for the American Academy of Nutrition in the US. Why was I in the American Academy of Nutrition? I was a humanities graduate, so I didn't get admission in any of the colleges in our country, in our city. So yahoo.com, I applied to the American Academy, and I was chosen, and that was really life-changing because it was a serious distance learning program with some delicious books, delicious textbooks. And believe me, I didn't understand a word of those right in the beginning. And that's when my journey started, about learning to appreciate how wonderful and powerful the human body is from the inside, and what we need to do to, it's so simple. A wonderful diet of proteins, carbohydrates, fats, done in the right way with some colorful nutrition and some intense exercise, believe me when I say it's intense, can actually change us and transform us into to be the persons we want to be. And my Madhuri that I wanted to be started coming back in my life. And you know how it is with callings. When you get the right calling, you get the best opportunities. So along with my nutrition, I had the opportunity to study Pilates, and learn that discipline. The other thing that happened was I got an opportunity to work for a premium edible oils company as their nutritionist, and as a result of that I had to talk to several people about fats and oils, and that was a wonderful experience because interacting with people to see how they understand nutrition and how they can make it part of their life was a lifelong learning that I use even today. And what happened when all of this was going on was that my exercising was going great guns, and I became a total intensity freak. And I used to really walk at the speed of running in Colaba Woods, and that's why I was called Ruia Rocket for a long time. You know, my father, when I was younger, when I was a homemaker, he said it's very difficult for women to start a business, but when he saw the way I was doing my nutrition and how passionate I was about my nutrition, exercise, and all my thoughts and all my writings of the time, he said, you know, Madhuri, I really want to give you a gift, and I want you to have your own place and start a small studio. And that was with the dream I had with nutrition, cardio, Pilates, and weight training all together. But you know, I was different. I didn't have treadmills in my gym, and that's why that business flopped. For a year, the business flopped. And so what happens next? You know, when you really want to do something, opportunity always knocks at your door, and it did in the form of the National Entrepreneurship Network. That is something that is run by the Wadhwani Foundation, and they want to make 10,000 Indian women entrepreneurs independent and good at their work. So I went for one of those seminars, and I think from there it started a series of mentoring for me. So some people from the NEN, I had mentorship from the NEN, and as soon as that happened, you know, half the functional health studio was shut and Integym was born. And once Integym was born, I realized that, you know, my brand of fitness, because when I was working out in half, I used to work out like a beast, and nobody wanted to work out like me. They used to say, you know, Madhuri is a great exercise person, but I can't work out like her. So they would run away literally. So through the mentoring, I realized that I have to think about my customer first before I think of me. And that's when I started having a typical gym, and I also started having my piece of fitness in that entire spectrum. And that is what Integym is about, integrated fitness. Integrated fitness is really intelligent fitness, because when you combine several things together, the whole becomes much greater than the sum of the parts. And that's what I try to do at Integym, where one of our maxims is never say no to anybody's fitness, not your own or anybody else's. So whether a customer wants to come to me and just do yoga and only do cardio and not do weight training and maybe just do nutrition and not take protein, we welcome everybody, and then we sort of work together to make a new life for each other. So much happened when I expanded Integym from 500 square feet to 1200 square feet. I started writing for the Mint. I started writing a column called The Diet Desk. I've written more than 100 columns, and two of my best columns, I think, according to me, are Is Facebook Making You Fat and Don't Blame Genes. Apart from that, I gave a lot of corporate workshops, from TCS to Times Foundation and Boston Consultancy, Johnson & Johnson, which was pan-India, you know, several others. The other thing that happened at this time was that the Cherie Blair Foundation, along with NEN, made me represent India for the Leading and Learning Seminar at General Electric in New York. So that was a wonderful experience, because it just opened my horizons about all the possibilities that can happen. And you know what? Every time I think about new possibilities, I think that they can only happen as long as you're really healthy, doing intense exercise and eating a wonderful, wonderful meal every 3 hours or so. So let me tell you the story about how I wrote the novel, Who Stole My Calories, which is really the world's first fitness novel. Yeah, like I was saying, when Jaico approached me about 3 years ago, they said, you know, we would like you to write a nutrition book. And while we were brainstorming, we thought about writing a typical nutrition book that had all the chapters for all the illnesses and the ailments and all the terrible things that keep happening to us. But that was not exciting me, and I need to really enjoy and be excited about the things I'm doing. So I took a holiday with my older daughter Parisha, And believe me, both my daughters, Parisha and Jia, are huge fitness talents. They are really strong, and I'm scared of them as well. But anyways, so to cut a long story short, let me just go back to the time that I was in Goa with Parisha to write this book, and nothing happened for the 3 days that I was supposed to find the inspiration to write the book. I thought maybe I'd write a blog or something. But 1 hour before I was catching my flight back into Mumbai, my protagonist, Natasha, walks in, and there were two sides to her. One was a bikini fit side, and the other was a hopelessly obese, ugly side. And who stole her calories? We need to read my book, Who Stole My Calories, to figure that one out. You know, I've been really excited about my journey, about how I have been continuously transforming myself. And all of this has happened because I strongly believe in the power of health and in the combinations that come up. One more thing I wanted to tell you, you know, I have found the fifth pillar to the 4 pillars of fitness that I believe in. Like I said earlier, the four pillars were nutrition, cardio, weight training, Pilates. I've added human emotion as the fifth pillar. And why I have done that is because all of the interactions that I have with my customers in the gym help me to realize that we all have some unanswered questions about our emotions, through our relationships, about ourselves. And these unanswered questions are the real reasons why we end up binging, why we end up doing things that we know that are not good for us. And my effort now is to sort of put all of this together and help people feel complete in themselves, so that health is one part of your success story just as much as your career is the other part. Nothing happens if we don't get success through health. That is what I believe in, and I want to share that with you because there's something I really want to do. I recall getting into the fitness line because we busted a myth, once a diabetic, always a diabetic. And I want to continue to do that because you know what? Diabetes, hypertension, heart disease are excuses for a bad lifestyle. We change our lifestyle, we change everything. Thank you.